Welcome to the Get the Bag podcast. I'm your host, Claudia Castro. Got my co-host Tim Park. What's
What up,
going on,
fam?
everybody? Happy Friday. Had to, do some rescheduling, but super excited to have you guys on. As always, before we get into it, because I'm hella pumped for this guest that we have on. Subscribe, like this channel, like this episode. Uh, guys, we're here for the people.
Yep.
We're here about sharing stories from people you don't really hear about, people that are up and comers. And this person we have coming on is nothing but that. His story is freaking amazing. He's from the Big A. I had
Yeah.
to make sure I, tapped
Hey, the
in with
big
that.
A.
Big A meaning Arkansas. He's like,
Let's
what,
go.
Atlanta, what? Uh, he started wholesaling not too long ago. Joined Chris Jefferson's Charge Up You program. Got a shout out to the U. And really the rest is history. Kind of dedicated to his craft. He's taken over the wholesaling game. If you ever really get a chance to talk to him, like he's super wise beyond his years. Like I always leave hella inspired. And I'm sure you guys will too. You guys will leave super motivated and inspired to get some work in. We're talking self belief today, and really what it takes, the self belief in you, and what starts with you to accomplish your goals. So let's welcome Curtis Cohen to the Get the Bag podcast. What's going on, bro?
Yo,
Yo, my
Hey,
guy, my
you,
guy.
what's
what's
going
going
on?
on,
Man,
man?
this guy, let me just say,
Dude,
I threw out the like, hey, we have some availability this Friday. He said, say less. The guy like booked it. So appreciate you coming on. I know you have
Yeah.
a lot of things going on in the business
yeah,
in general. So I really appreciate you taking some time, man.
yeah, I appreciate it, man. You know what, Glady? Shout out first of all, shout out to the youth fam. Shout
Let's
You,
out to my
go.
man,
guy
gotta
Let's
Chris
rep.
go.
Gotta
Jefferson.
rep.
Gotta rep the you. Man, like I said, I can't take any credit. I won't take any credit. I'm not gonna take any credit. Man, God has just blessed me and allowed me to be able to use my gifts. And that's a little bit
Absolutely.
of something that we're gonna talk about today. But man, it was the gift, allowing me to be able to express my gifts into the marketplace and just tremendously bless me and my family. So man, I'm excited to be here. I'm glad that you guys reached out. It was amazing. So I'm excited. Tim, what's up,
Yeah.
man?
Hey, what's up? Man, so happy to have you on, bro. So I know that people are gonna be really excited to hear your story, and you have a great story. You're gonna inspire a lot of people today. I know it.
Can't
So
wait. You know what? I had to point it out before we get things going. You say you don't want to take credit, but you putting in the work. I've seen
yes,
it. You know what I mean? Like we
100%.
both are part of Chris's hands off program, and
Yeah,
just seeing your progression, like from where you've kind of started to where you're at now, and like the strides you're making in your business. Like absolutely, we want to be humble here. No stingy energy, but you're putting in the work too. So
yeah.
absolutely, it's you're killing it. So
I
just
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I
just
appreciate
wanted
it.
to say
Hey
that.
Tim, you know what? I actually ran across a message, man, back in 2019 when I
Oh
had
yeah.
DM'd you on Instagram, right before I got into Chris Jefferson's coaching program.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I ran across it when I first got in and I first reached out. You were the first person I reached out to
Oh
before I
man.
even got into the program.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah.
snap! Look at that
So
small
That's
world.
yeah,
crazy.
that's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
It's full
I love
circle.
it. Full circle, man. Full
I love it.
circle. I
I
love it.
love it.
That's
So
awesome.
so tell me, Kurt, like tell us a little bit about yourself. I know we know you from the Big A, all right,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
big Arkansas.
Palm Bluff,
Like what?
Arkansas, stand up.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, like I said, man, I'm from Palm Bluff. It's a small town in Arkansas with the biggest A that's on the map. Please believe that.
Stand up.
Man, I guess to me, man, I'm a small town guy. I came from a smaller, larger family of five, two sisters at home, mom and dad. My story was, I guess it was a little different. I was actually on my way to college. I went to college on my way to optometry school. And I
Mm.
graduated. I was one of those guys. Like I graduated school with a biochem degree and didn't even use it. But
Right. Like all of us. We didn't use
Yes.
any of that
come on,
shit.
man. Come on, man. I mean, whatever. That's another discussion for another day, right?
Hey,
Absolutely.
it just shows you smart, man. Smart.
Yo.
I mean, you know what? And one thing about it, the process to the business was so simple
Right.
that somebody like me was like just waiting for something like this. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
Mm.
yes, you don't have to be brilliant, but you just got to be able to put the one and two together to make it happen. So
Love it.
yeah, so
Absolutely.
man, I was on my way to optometry school, y'all. Like no lie, flat out, I was on my way to optometry school, going through the application processes, and then I kind of just looked back and was like, 200,000 in loans, leaving with loans. Let's do something else, right?
Mhm.
Went the corporate route. Went through a business, a company called Aerotech. Some people may know what Aerotech is. Some people don't. It's a staffing agency. Um, Left from Aerotech, and unfortunately, I actually had got fired from Aerotech after putting in my 2-week notice.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah. And at that time, I was actually on my way interviewing and kind of going through a process with jobs and stuff like that for another job. And the same day that they came and they told me to turn my laptop in, the company that I got hired for and I accepted that job called me the exact same day and said, "We don't need you anymore. We
mm,
Mm.
closed the positions out."
Mm.
damn.
That's crazy.
Go time, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, back against a wall.
Back against the wall. So that was 2019.
Mhm.
Fast forward, kind of being in and out of the business. I was actually sitting in the exact same seat, looking at
Mm.
the bliss, and
Bless.
I can remember it like it was yesterday. It was one of those moments in my life to where I could have either, done something different, took a chance on myself, or I could have went the traditional route, continued interviewing, found the job that I was comfortable with, and just did that and just kind of settled out. I remember sitting here and I was praying and I was like, God, if you gave me the opportunity to literally go out here and make this happen, I'll never turn back.
Mm.
Mm,
And I'll always give you the glory first because I know it was you that gave me this opportunity. Because keep in mind, y'all, I'll be honest. I started wholesaling back in maybe 2016.
Wow.
That's when I
wow.
figured out about it. Yeah, a
Mm.
lot of people don't know that. That's when I figured out about it. I'm gonna drop a lot of stuff. That's when I
Yeah,
figured.
that's what it's about. That's what we're here
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. So, but I was just one of those guys that I did a deal just when I wanted some extra money. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't something that I was just like, let's like try to make this something serious. It is
Right.
because I was just caught up in like the corporate thing. I'm fresh out of college, I'm fresh doing this. I bought a house, got a son, so
Mm.
I was going down that route. But one thing led to another. Now we're here.
I love
Yep.
it. I love that progression. Like
Yeah.
that backstory that you knew about wholesaling. And there's so many people like, have joined the U that are like, nah, I think we are having a conversation yesterday where it's like, well, I've been in this business and I can't keep up with this person. It's like, well, I mean,
Mhm.
just because you knew about it doesn't mean, uh, you know, that's like where you're gonna be. Like it's about who you surround yourself with and like the knowledge, what you do with that knowledge and like the action that you took. You're just doing it as like a side hustle thing, which
Mhm.
when you have a job and when I started, I was kind of doing it like that as well. I was like, well, it may be nice to get, a few $10,000 checks or 5,000 even. Like that's going to
Right.
boost my income. Like that's nothing. But it really is that mindset shift, which I know we'll talk about like the self-belief. But you know, talk to us about I mean, I know it sounds like you closed a few deals, but when did you start taking it seriously? Like, I gotta get my
Mhm.
shit together. I gotta like make this into a business.
Uh, so 2 years ago, that's when I took it serious. Because, like I said, I was at the point to where I could either go right or I could go
Mhm.
left. You know, um, I just always felt like it was something else inside of me that I just didn't know what it was. And the day that I really figured this out, I'm really telling y'all a lot. The day that I really figured this out, I went to my boss. I went to my boss because I was subpart over this group of individuals for a region. And I went to my boss at the time and I asked her, I said, how has it come that I could start this and grow it to this magnitude but I don't get the proper recognition
Mm,
for the work.
mm,
At this point, it just makes it feel like I should start my own company.
Right.
right.
And she looked at me and she said, "No, you don't want to do that because doing it this route will make it just that much safer." I
Mm.
thought
Oh,
about what she said.
wow.
I thought about what she said to me a long time. And that right there struck, something else inside of me to say that I got some more in me.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular place and this particular route is just not pulling it out, but it's something in me. But that's what comfort does, though. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're in the day to day and you're in the notion of just following the orders respectfully, you
Right.
know,
Hey, we
just
need people
doing,
that are like that.
Yeah.
yeah, we
Yeah.
do though. We do though. I mean, everybody has their role. But for those set of people that you're maybe sitting at your desk right now, or you may be at a bus stop listening to this, or you may be in a grocery store just kind of boggling with your mind of what's next. I'm just here to tell you that you got something else inside of you that's untapped. But if you
Mm-hmm.
don't take a risk, you're going to leave it buried.
Right.
And how
Mm.
much sense does that make to leave something buried that was meant to grow?
Mm.
Ooh. Oh,
Ooh,
you
I love
dropping
it.
bars early, bro.
Hey,
Oh
I
my
love
god.
it.
I don't
I
think the people are ready.
I know, right?
I
Right.
just, it was just something. And I'm just so glad that I was able to take the perspective after doing a lot of meditation, a lot of reading, a lot of Bible reading, a lot of and consistently and still to
Mm-hmm.
this day, that it's just knowing that there's no way that I can fail.
Right.
And that if something happens, we just gonna keep rolling. So man, I'm telling you, guy, I'm super excited to be here. Super,
That's dope.
super.
That's dope. Like I call it like the jump off point, right?
Yeah.
So like you were doing it part time, in and out, and then something clicked that made you kind of jump off and just put your whole energy, mind, and soul into the business, right? And whether it doesn't matter what situation you're in, everybody has that jump off point, right? It's
Mhm.
either they jump into business or and they're 100% into it and they do everything that needs to be done. So can you tell us about like your first, like after you made that decision, like what the steps were, and then how long did it take you to get your first deal when you after that point? Like, I know you done some deals here and there, but when you made the active decision to actually pursue it.
Um, so I was still actively kind of doing wholesale part time at that moment while I still
Mm-hmm.
had that job.
Mm-hmm.
So actually I had a deal in motion.
Mm.
Yeah, I had already one in motion. It just hadn't closed yet. Um, so I mean, I could technically say that that would probably be my first deal, but that one was already kind of in the works because you know how when you about to get, I mean, can we be honest? Can we
Yes,
be honest
let's
on here?
please.
Everybody knows when they about to get fired. Like everybody knows when they about to leave somewhere. Let's
That's
just
true.
be
That's real
honest.
talk. That's real
Yeah,
talk.
real talk.
Okay. With that being said, I had already some stuff in motion and I was already pre-working. So I guess for me, just to answer your question, Tim, it wasn't long.
Mm.
I mean, that happened to me maybe within the next 30 days. I had
Mm.
closed on a deal. It was on South Oak Street, right across the street from the hospital. And actually, the person that bought that deal, I have a relationship with that buyer to this day that is actually looking to partner up, and that's we'll talk about that later. But yeah, he actually bought that deal for me, and yeah, I think I made gosh, that was back in 20. It was over 10,000 though.
Mm.
Mm,
Because it was enough money for me to be able to kind of set some stuff up, be comfortable in what I had going on, to be
right.
able to breathe.
Little
So
runway.
Yeah, a little
yeah, it
runway.
was
Yeah.
definitely a runway deal. But like I wish I knew the exact number for you, Tim, but I know it was over 10 grand.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
It's still pretty. It's a good amount.
Hey.
Hey, 10
Yeah.
grand,
Oh, come
man.
on. Yeah.
You good. You good. You good.
Like I didn't
You
for
been out here in
somebody like
Cali.
me, like I mean, come on. Like for somebody like me, I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Like uh man, it's just those are some of the things that somebody like me dreams of. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever
Right,
I actually saw it come into fruition and I saw that I could do it,
right.
then I was ready to rock and roll.
Right.
Absolutely. And shout out to you, man. You kind of saw it coming. And I kind of want to backtrack to like that conversation you had with a coworker, your boss saying like it's safe.
Mm.
Like how many of us people we've talked to saying, "Hey, we're going to start business." Actually reposted an old post yesterday talking about, "Hey, when you get a promotion, everyone's like, "Hey, great job." But like when you say, "Hey, I'm going to start a business," people are like, "Okay, bye." Or like, "Hey, good luck with that. Good luck with that
Mm-hmm.
business."
Right.
Um it's uncomfortable to people because it's so far out of their like vision,
Repertoire, yeah.
mindset, and repertoire. But other people would have heard that and been like, "Oh, you're right. Let me let me not go there."
Yeah.
Because so many people when I started my business, they were like, "Oh, are you sure you should take it easy or do this?" Like
Mm,
everyone wants it to be comfortable.
mm,
People love to be comfortable. That's why they're stuck in jobs for however many number of years. And if that's your thing that you love, absolutely. No
Yeah.
hate on that. I may need to hire you though at some point, but just saying. But you took that as inspiration to like be like, oh, I'm onto something, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And you took that with you and like really establishing and building out your business. So talk to us like once you kind of really start taking it seriously, you left your job, started like kind of going all in into the business. When things got hard, like what are some things that kind of worked for you? And we're kind of like trickling into like the self belief, but like because I know once like you had some runway money, but at some point that runs out, right? Because you got to pay
mm.
bills or whatever. Like
Oh
talk
yeah.
to us about that struggle, that transition period.
Mm. Uh, I think that was probably the most pivotal point that I in my business, because I used to be one of the ones that I thought that, well, if I bought the leads and I just called them, I got a yes, I can just put it to a buyer and it'll go through. As simple as that sounds, that's the way that the process works.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of individual work that goes on in between it that a lot of people, I think, they just kind of skip over.
Right.
um that was a hard time. That was a very dark time.
Yeah.
But looking at it from the perspective that I have now, that was some of the best moments of my life. I
Right.
was able to be able to sit and be centered in something and be able to think like, hey, I can get myself out of this. Look, I
Yeah.
just I went kind of into it. It's like I can get myself out of this. I can arise above this. And then another thing was I stopped looking other places that I already had in myself. I was one of the ones that I was looking everywhere else for the answers, but
Mm-hmm.
the answers was just in me. I just
Mm,
Yeah.
had to do the eternal
right.
work, the internal
Mm-hmm.
work to get to that point. And what that kind of looked like for me was meditating.
Mm.
I got up and I exercised every morning. I read books. I turned my social media off and I switched it out with a book. You know, uh,
That's
uh,
dope.
I eat better. I make sure I'm on a consistent workout. My prayer life is up, and everything coupled into that, it just started trickling on top of one of another, you know. But don't let me be the one that lie to you. Like, I'm also the one that was trying to swipe his card to feed his family, and the card didn't go through.
Mm.
Mm,
Like
Mm-hmm.
I also was the one who had the light man come to the front door to pay the light bill and I couldn't pay it. you
Mm-hmm.
know I also was the one who had to go pick up his son and tried to have gas, but had to scrape up change inside the cup holder to be able to put inside the car for gas to be able to go get my son. Like I
Mm-hmm.
also was that
mm,
person. So going through that, was important, because a lot of times people try to skip over that because they're scared or something,
Right.
that
mm.
fear factor. But you
Yeah, the
know
escape.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but it's no escaping that part. You need that part.
Right.
Embrace that part, because
Mm-hmm.
that part is what's going to allow you to be who you really need to be.
Man.
Yeah.
I love that. It
Yeah.
actually reminds me of like I think a couple weeks ago or maybe last month we were on the morning call. You had closed like a pretty big deal. I think it was like 30,000 or whatever, and you played that video. I think of you. I think you couldn't afford pizza, or I can't remember
Mhm.
what it was. Maybe you can kind of share that. But that was like really inspiring. Kind of going back to like the struggles you went through, because
Mm-hmm.
now in the position you're at now, you're able to kind of look at it like thank you. Like I'm able to I dug myself out. We talk about being buried. Like maybe you were buried for a bit and you like dug yourself out and were able to overcome this. But that video that reminds me of that video that you played where it's like, your the emotions catch up to you where you're like, oh shit, like I did that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was a very touching moment. Yeah, I actually it was just a regular day, you know. I had done a deal, you know, but like I said, I had to get caught up on stuff, just
Right.
like every other person. I had to get caught up on stuff. You know, I had
Mm-hmm.
stuff going on. So the active money is fast money. So as quick as it come in, as quick as it leaves.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
know,
Right.
that's just the truth. You know, so I just can remember the time that I was, man, mm, I can remember the time where I was going to try to pick up some pizza for my family. It was a weekend. It was actually on a Saturday. Never forget it. It was Paxton's Pizza. If you're ever in Arkansas, man, go
Mm.
to Paxton's Pizza. It's a really good pizza. I still eat that pizza to this day. But yeah, and when I went there, um, I swiped and it just and then walk. And I could remember just being in the car and just looking at myself and looking at my gas. Cause at the time I couldn't also not get my family nothing to eat at that time. I also didn't have gas. So it
Mm-hmm.
was at that point I was just looking at myself and I was like, man, it's hurt. And I think I'm gonna have to go back to work. Like, I think I'm gonna have to do this. But I remember I called my girlfriend and I told her what was happening and shout out to her. She sent me the money for it. She's a real
Hey,
one.
shout out to the lady.
Yeah,
Hey,
shout
shout
out to
Shout
out.
her,
out
man.
Shout
to
out.
Yeah, shout out to her.
shout out to the queen.
She stood, she held it down for sure. Love her to death. But yeah, she sent me the money for it and she told me it was okay. And she told me that, you know, I know you'll come up and I know you'll figure it out. So it's all right. And you know what? When I went back in here and I got the pizza, I drove back home and I just was thinking to myself, like, it's time. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
my moment. This
Mm.
is
Mhm.
this
This is where I
point,
look back
right?
at.
Yeah.
This point right here is the breaking point. At
Yeah.
this moment in my life, this is where I could either go forward or I can turn back.
Right.
And the rest was history.
Wow. That's amazing. I kind of want to touch on a point that you said earlier. Like you said, simple, right? But simple doesn't always equal easy,
Mm,
right? So,
Right.
in this, especially in this business, now I think a lot of people associate simple with easy, and it's not. And
mm,
especially what you had to go through and what you were doing during this time, and going through your challenges, um, and you made the decision, from that point on. Like, I know that there's some stuff that has come up and down during this process as well. How have you overcome some of those challenges? Do you look at back at that point and say, hey, I was at kind of that lowest, I'm not going to be there again, I'm just going to push forward? Or what's your mind set process with that and overcoming challenges now?
you know what? I wanna send a shout out to a guy that I don't even know, David Goggins. You
Mm,
know,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
he has a book. It's called "Can't Hurt Me,"
Mm-hmm.
It's a
and they
great
go-
book.
we gonna they gonna have to start charge. Y'all gonna have to start charging on all these advertisers I'm putting out there. uh, he talks about in his book that everybody formulates a cookie jar,
Mm,
and inside that cookie jar, if you change your perspective, you can use those cookies as the things that you were able to overcome. Because if you're listening to me and I'm listening to you, then you're 100% over hard times. no matter if it's a hard time you may be going through yet now, it's not going to be like that forever.
Right.
So what I started to realize is that, wait a minute, God allowed me to get over this once before. So there's no way in the world I can't
Mm-hmm.
get over this again. And
Right.
let's
Right.
be honest, like deals have fallen through, at the closing table. I could remember I actually drove to Memphis for a deal that I thought that was going through, and the buyer left me at the closing table. And I was counting on that deal at that one time in
Mm.
my life and
Right.
in
That's
my career.
what we
That's
talking
when I was
about.
first starting out. hmm And I remember again, like driving back home with tears in my eye because I just felt so defeated
Yeah.
because like all the work that I was putting in, it's like it wasn't happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I started to realize that I was like, wait a minute. I remember when I was at the Paxton's Pizza and I got over that. So I was like, wait a minute. Let me dry my tears up and let me just broaden my shoulders back and let's keep plowing past it. So I used that cookie out of my cookie jar and I was like, you know what? Let's keep going.
Right. And sometimes you need that. Like
Mm-hmm.
what I've learned too in life is good or bad, it passes. Like the
Right.
good
Mhm.
times, right? Enjoy it, but it's gonna pass because life, life isn't just straight, right? It's like it's a roller coaster. The bad times, yeah, it sucks, but it's gonna pass. So it's just like no matter what's gonna happen, you just have to be ready for the moment. So I love that. I love David Goggins, super inspiring book.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I really kind of needs that inspiration too, just listen to like his story, and
Yeah.
to really just sort of put things in perspective of like, oh, you think this is hard? Like,
Yeah.
Mm.
somebody else is going through it. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and that's kind of like going into transition to my next question, which is like, how do you, because, at some point you're at that high, right? Like now we're fast forwarding to now, you've closed deals, you're building your team, right? How do you balance that self-belief now with like humility, right? Like, because we've gone to that point where it's like, hey, you start making money, you get
Mm-hmm.
arrogant, you get overconfident. Like, how do you, with self-belief? Like, it's a difference to be like, hey, I can do anything versus like, I'm the shit, like nobody can touch me, which, we want to have that attitude, but like, how do you
Mm.
balance that? Like, once things start kind of rolling.
Right. Well, you know what? I understand that the gifts that I have that I'm fortunate enough to be able to use and be successful by, I didn't give myself. So how
Mm.
can
Right.
I take credit for the things that I didn't even give myself?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm,
just that process alone is a perspective change
Mm-hmm.
because once you know where your help comes from, how can you take the credit for it? So just having that, no matter if I do a $30,000 deal, $15,000 deal, something doesn't happen, something goes through, I just understand that I didn't give these gifts to myself. So that's what keeps me humble in it.
mm,
And that as long as I keep that perspective, I know everything gonna work out.
That's
love that.
dope. That's awesome. I know that faith is a big part of your journey, and it's a part of a lot of people's journey too, and mine as well. And it's very important to me. So I think tapping into that, or if it's not that, it's something for somebody, right? Whether it's
Right,
meditation, whether it's another religion, they do tap into something that allows them to um, expand their gifts. I
right,
should say,
Right.
like you say. So, I think it's an important factor in just the business, and I think a lot of people forget that. They forget that element, and then because they're worrying about what's happening to them, whether it's good, bad, or whatever, and not kind of um, taking a holistic, I guess, approach and what's happening in their life, in the past and in the future. So I think that's an important factor too. So, fast forward now to your business. How is your business kind of structured? since you've done several deals, been successful. How's your business structured now?
Um, so we're still heavy in our wholesale structure. We are undergoing different changes, and that's the thing. My business, we're open for change.
Mm.
Change is something that we always speak about. Change is something that we're always looking to elevate in some sort of a way. Like I said, shout out to my guy Josh. I just got a chance to hire my first employee that's full time with me now. So he
Hey,
does
Shout out to Josh.
yeah, shout
let's
out to
go. Let's
Josh. Shout out
go.
to Josh. That's my guy. He's coming along well, and he's learning so quick. And it's just I'm so amazed at his growth and where he's going, and what he's going to be able to do for his family. So we're Tim, I'm telling you, man, we got a lot of exciting things going on. And we're even looking at buying some rentals this year. We're looking
Let's
at buying
go.
some rentals this year, and possibly getting into some hotel flips, like I mentioned earlier, in the chime, that I want a few of the relationships that we were able to create over the amount of years, and just doing business with them and good business with them, has materialized into different
Hmm.
types of relationships that's going to open up some different type of exit strategies, that where we can
Sure.
take a look at these deals and get them taken care of and taken down for ourselves. So a lot of different exciting things going on, but we're only looking towards the future and towards growth. And this AI thing is getting very interesting.
Love it.
I know
We
you got a
all
lot to
agree
say
to
about
that.
that, Tim.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's good. I'm
So,
glad that you're, exploring different things. That's
mhm,
amazing.
If you're
yeah.
not taking advantage of that in your
Yeah,
business, I mean,
I
100%.
think you're already behind.
Yeah,
right.
right, right.
You're definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're in very interesting times all the way around the board. I don't know how
Hmm.
political we can get on here, but not too
Oh, it's
much,
free
right?
range, bro.
It's free
It's
range.
family
Yep.
here.
Yep.
We just had
Right. Family
shoot,
business, but
we just
the
chatting it
world
up.
is crazy right now, y'all.
Hmm.
The dollar is declining, not even worth to some countries, and then you got AI just growing rapidly, that's taking away thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs. You can't even go to Kroger. I don't even know if y'all have a Kroger, but the grocery stores, without having machines,
Yeah.
ringing up stuff. Grandma not ringing up no more. So
Hmm. Hmm.
if you're blind to the times, or trying to think that it's not here, then you're doing yourself a huge disservice.
Yeah. Listen, I mean,
Right.
Amazon got stores here that they don't even have people working. You
No,
just
no,
go
like
in there. Yeah, you just
right.
go in there,
What?
pick up your stuff, and they charge your Amazon account when you.
No, yeah. So real talk, I
Yeah.
went to a Whole
Wow.
Foods the other day. Just literally put stuff in the cart. Everything is tracked. I didn't even have to pull out my card. It's just I
Yep.
link my Amazon account. I just throw shit in the shopping cart and literally walk out. I had to like do a little like,
I know,
hey,
right?
I'm brown in a white neighborhood. I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know if you should be doing that,
no,
Gladius.
I walked away. I walked away. I walked away. Nobody came after me. They did charge my account like 6 hours later. So at first I was like,
Hopefully, they
shit,
hit
I'm
you for
walking
that.
out like with
Yeah.
No, I'm just
two
kidding.
hundred dollars worth of stuff. But it's real. Like
Yeah.
it's and all of a
Mm.
sudden, like, the sci-fi movies like seem kind of real. Like it's
Mm.
like
Hmm.
coming to reality.
Like the Will Smith one. You know that one? Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
I'm
paying
just saying.
attention. What's going on? So.
Right. Just saying. But back to the current world, I guess, or whatever world we're in right now. I really liked what you talked about in like your routine, right? Because we're talking about self-belief, and I think it starts with you, right? And like I think you talked about working on your external and internal work, like, focusing on that. How has like establishing a routine to grow, to learn, to constantly be improve yourself, not only professionally, right, in your business, but I'm sure personally as a you mentioned you have a girlfriend, you're a father. Like talk to us. Let's talk about like that aspect of like how that has like changed and also factored into your success that maybe you weren't doing before.
Routine is important. Like if you don't have a routine, you need a routine. Waking up early is a part of my regimen. Like I'm up 5 a.m. I'm
Yep.
up 5 a.m. meditation, gym, 6. Time to get the kid up, take him to daycare at 7. Locked in with the youth fam at 7:30. Um, First dial goes out 8:30 a.m. and we not off to 7. An hour break in there in between, maybe a couple 15-minute breaks just to kind of stay loose. But I try to stay grounded in that because I can always tell that if I get outside of that, then it's a shift, it's a change, it's a different
Mm-hmm.
feel, it's a different vibe. So I try to stay really grounded in my routine. And honestly, I have to practice at my routine like that. People don't understand. Building a routine builds consistency, and
Right.
it's not easy to be consistent at stuff that matters.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so I'm a work in progress at it, and now I have to. And Josh gets on me all the time because now I have different things that I have going on inside of the business with different routines. So now I have to be extra
Mm-hmm.
careful intentional with what I'm doing with my day, and to make sure he's successful in what he has. So overall, we're all successful. So, and yeah. So if you don't have a routine, get one. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't think you need one, you need one.
Yeah. And I think what you're transitioning into is, you're become more of a business instead of a solo entrepreneur, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like you're starting to onboard people. And
Yes.
I think that's a different mind shift of now that you have another person that you have to be responsible for, as a representative of your company, right?
Mhm.
And so and then talk about like how your mind shift is in that way towards becoming you know how to do A to Z on your business, but now conveying one part of your business or several parts of your business to someone that you onboarded. Is your thought process is totally different now because you have to train and teach as well, right?
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny that you said that because yesterday we were able to get a property under contract, but the notification came through about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So this was one of the leads that my property specialist Josh he actually sourced, and going into our morning meeting this morning, I said, "Hey man, we got a property under contract. Congratulations, wada wada." I said, "This one came through at 10:30." He said to me, he said, "Man, you working at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night?" I said, "Yeah, man, I gotta make sure your family is fed too." That's
Mm,
Mhm.
important to me.
yeah.
Whenever I brought him in, I didn't bring him in for the success of myself. I brought him in for the success of himself and his family.
I
So
Right.
love
I'm
that.
almost indebted to him as much as he is to me.
Right.
So come on, Tim and Claudia, y'all know it's family business.
Yeah.
So we
I'm
got
the
to
Yeah.
take
same.
care of our family. So the people that take care of us, we got to make sure they're taken care of. So, and I think that's the perspective that you would think some people should have, but
Hmm.
that's a perspective shift. Like I said,
Yeah.
I put him before myself because I got to
Hmm.
make sure that he's
Yeah.
taken care of. So, yeah, it's
Absolutely.
important.
I think that's the thing of being a business owner, and appreciate all the people in the you. Shout out to people in the chat. Man,
Hmm.
I know you guys
For
getting
sure.
tons of value. We usually, anytime, Kurt is on a call, man, he stayed dropping games, but it's only for like a good 5 minute spiel, and then he's back to work. And so we get him literally for an hour. So if you guys have any questions for Kurt, make sure you guys drop them in. But
100%.
going back to what you were saying, being a business owner, it comes with a ton of responsibility. And I think that's what people freak out at. Like you are people are dependent on you.
Mm,
Like, like it starts with you. Because it's one thing when it's just you by yourself. You're like, I know me, I got me, right? Like
Hmm.
I know
Hmm.
I have my own back. But when you start bringing people on, there's like that added pressure of like, I don't want to let them down. And so many people who've had to like layoffs or let people go due to like money reason, budget, whatever, that
Hmm.
that shit hurts. Like
Yeah.
mhm.
It's really hard. And so there's so many levels to being a business owner, especially once you bring on like your first hire and you start
Yeah.
building your team where you're like,
Mm-hmm.
shit, it's not just me anymore. It's not just me and my family. Like you said, it's their family too. I'm putting food on their table. And so that it kind of adds an extra like motivator to like keep
Mm-hmm.
pushing. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the mindset shift maybe that you're talking about that people don't really realize. And people talk about like, oh, business owners do this or they should be taxed. It's like, yo, we're creating jobs.
Mm-hmm.
We're putting food on your table. And so
Right.
once I kind of switched my mindset to that, um, I saw things totally different. And that's really what it is as a business owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And you know what? It's important, right? But at the end of the day, taking that ownership and taking that, you know, perspective, right? It puts you, I feel like it impels you as a person, you know, because you understand that as a team, the bigger dream can be accomplished with everybody. And if
Mm-hmm.
I have everybody and good people around me and we're taking care of each other, then it doesn't feel like work. And if it doesn't
Right.
feel like work, then I mean, all we think we got to do is win.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm appreciative of what he has definitely brought to the table, and uh, I'm I'm more excited to what we can grow to for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think you realize that you're ultimately setting the tone for your culture of your business. Like
Mm,
Right.
just by your thought process on how you're going to take care of your employees, right? And how you treat them like family, how you want them to win just as much as you want to win or the company wants to win. I think you're providing a big, advantage to building a healthy culture within your business.
Right.
yeah, and that's
And yeah.
important, right?
Oh,
Like,
100%.
that's
100%.
important. How many times have we worked somewhere that we just wasn't comfortable?
I was just gonna say, I mean, you were just talking about the job you were in and like how they treated you. And so I think a lot of us have come from the corporate world or worked at the job where we weren't appreciated. Um, and you look at it and like, how can I be better? How can I be a better? Not I have this opportunity now. What can I do to have this person not feel like that? What
Mhm.
culture do I want to bring? And that's what's like really exciting when you're building out your values, your company values, your
Mhm.
mission, or what however you want to structure your business. But
Yeah,
that's huge.
yeah. I mean, and like I said, I use the same principles that we do in the U. It's family business.
I love it.
And that's just that. It's his family business, and I leave it very open. He's open to tell me whatever his thoughts are. If he thinks something can be improved, we work
Mhm.
together. It's not a I'm your boss and you listen to me and you do what I say.
Yeah.
I don't think he can grow like that. I didn't grow like that.
Right.
But
Mhm.
what would have happened if I had an environment where I could, were not just believed in, but had the permission to grow?
Mm. Mm.
Like
Right.
what would have happened to me? But I'm thankful that it didn't, because
Yeah.
I didn't need any permission to grow. You
Right.
know,
Right.
growth was
Right.
just on me, so I gave myself
Exactly.
the permission.
That's
Absolutely.
cool. So tell us what's next for you. What's next for Curtis?
Well, I'll say this. This will probably be the last podcast I do for a while.
Uh,
That's why I'm
Well, that's why I
grateful to
feel
be.
special, Ma. Let me get
I
my
know,
guy
right?
Kurt on
Yeah,
here.
this is gonna be it.
Hey, don't worry, bro. I got plenty of content for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
for
go.
sure. But for me, I'm focused on growth. I got a couple different plans that we got into play as far as growth. We're looking to kind of rapidly in place this AI into the business, to where it does a little bit more of the day-to-day structure.
Love it.
So I'm very excited for that. We are going to be, like I said, we're all going to be looking into getting into some hotel flipping at the end of this year, maybe even a little sooner, than I think. But I'm trying to stay focused.
Right,
But
right.
Oh, it'll
yeah,
happen, man.
I'm just focused on building the business out as big and as healthy as I can. and that's my main focus right now, and we're staying to the grind every day. So
I love it. Talk to us about the AI. What specific
Yeah.
tasks are you sort of automating using AI?
um so right now, we're only using AI to kind of write up some messages,
Sure.
kind of do
Mhm.
different things like that. But I don't know how, and I might get beaten off the head off for saying this, but in the industry, but I don't really see and foresee a real need for virtual assistants in the
I would
future.
agree.
I don't really see a need for it, especially for the things that we use them for as far as the texting is concerned,
Right.
right?
Admin. Right.
Admin, things of that nature. So we will be looking to kind of add some, more interesting positions, and just having that pretty much overseen by somebody, and the volume that we can expect to do from that is pretty exciting,
Yeah. Yeah.
to say
I
the
think
least.
I think that's cool. Like just my thought process on it a little bit, to your point of not needing an assistant, where that could really kind of replace everything, but also can replace a CRM as well too, because it could store like all the information that you put in or you tell it, right? It has a lead, so you push it over to the AI. The AI will automatically follow up on the days that you say it will follow up.
The
Yeah.
way you
The mess,
say,
the way you say it, your tone, everything that you've
It
programmed
learns
it to.
everything
Yeah, it learned from that. So even make phone calls pretty soon.
with your
So
voice.
with
yeah,
your
with your
voice,
voice. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm a
man.
little kind of
I
A
know,
little
like,
trippy. I
I
mean,
don't want to
I
put my voice out there yet,
it's
but
funny. I saw a Drake song made like an
yeah,
AI Drake song, and I was like, that's pretty fire.
yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, man. Are we gonna have to start patenting our voice or something like this? Like,
I know,
Right.
right? Well,
our
they're already
names or
doing
something.
like
But
some, especially artists right now. They're labels are actually going to
that
court about that.
industry,
Yeah,
It's
I feel
crazy.
like it's under the most distress
100%.
at
Like
the
people
moment.
writing music and
Or
they ain't even
artists
Oh, right,
writing,
music that's
and
almost
then
done.
they're using other people's voice to sing that music. That's crazy.
It's kind of what you say, Guardian. It's kind of trippy.
Trippy. I
Yeah.
don't know, but I'm telling you, we're walking into a whole new world. I mean, I'm doing that too in my business as well as like my 9 to 5, where if you can integrate an AI platform, you don't need to like code anything. Just tell the AI, hey, I want this report. Give me a
Hmm.
KPI report of this property specialist at this date. Um, and boom, you don't even need spreadsheets anymore. It just like spits out, or like if you
Or
want
yeah,
in this, like it's so simple. And so for those watching, like you definitely need to take advantage or
Yeah.
understand what you can integrate and
yeah.
and start that shit now.
It's
Just
Hmm.
yeah. Tracking is going to be huge because you can just say in the last 6 months what marketing leads have worked. Is it absentee 60 plus? Is it pre-foreclosure, or is it, and it's going to spit out how many deals that you closed per which marketing avenue you pulled your list from. So
Mm. And you see how many jobs they cut out too.
yep. Yeah.
That's dangerous. But how beneficial can it be to the consumer? You know,
right, right.
I just pray that you're on the right side of it.
Yeah.
That's
I
all.
Yeah.
know.
Just gotta just pop on the bandwagon and figure it out as you go. But the
That's it.
last thing you want is to be left behind because
Yeah.
people are going to be left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody didn't think Google was going to be a thing.
Yeah. Yep.
What?
Nobody
Very
thought
true.
Yeah.
the cell phone was going to be a thing.
Right.
Very
Nobody
I
thought
true.
really
anything
think
was
this AI thing is going to be a thing.
Yeah.
right. Right.
So,
Absolutely. Well, I did kind of want to see like what you want to leave the audience with, because you've dropped so many bars
Yeah.
just throughout the span. I think we're at 50 minutes now.
are we
Um,
really?
I know
yeah,
it
I
doesn't
told you,
seem like it,
man.
right? I
Oh,
know
I
it
didn't
Yeah,
goes
know.
we just,
fast.
family business. We just having a conversation. We just shooting
But
the
That's
this is what
it.
shit.
we do all the time. So I guess
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Right.
exactly. Except next time you got to come out here to LA, man.
Yeah, for
You gotta come
sure.
out
You
to the
know
big
what?
LA.
I got to, LA is a different, y'all are vibing different in LA. I came to LA, what, late last year, probably but late last year, about September last year. And that's a different vibe.
Yeah.
It's
Really nice
definitely
out there.
different out here,
Really nice.
man.
Definitely got
That
to get
weather,
back.
that sun, although, it's been kind of
It's
trippy with the rain, but like
rain. Yep.
that sun hit you, it's different. The
Yeah,
big money out here where you're like, all right,
big money,
all right.
huge money.
But like, yeah,
So
what do you want to leave the audience with today? Because
Yeah.
like, you've already kind of touched upon it, like, somebody starting out, but like it can be people that are stuck in their business or people who are just stuck, who are like, hey, I can't even afford this or that. Like, what would you say to them?
two things, if I can.
Of
Okay.
So
course.
I was reading this book. Oh gosh, the Napoleon Hill.
Mm,
Yeah.
Um, it was a Napoleon Hill book. I apologize. It just literally just escaped me right there. But it's a Napoleon Hill book. It has a navy blue. It has a navy blue covering. Um, but inside this book, the very first chapter, it says that it was a guy. It was a farmer. The farmer owned a farm. He was attending to the farm. That was his day-to-day job. And he was growing so tired of that farm that he just decided that he wanted to go and look for diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
So he decided one day after a few years of work that he was going to sell his farm, put it on the market, and go off to look for this quest of diamonds instead of doing the work that he needed to do to attend to himself. So he went off, he went through a quest. Um, Sad to say, he never found any diamonds. He actually got so exhausted, so frustrated. He had a lot of fear. He had so anxiety overtook him, and he threw himself inside of a casting river, and he died.
Mm.
That farm, that farm actually got sold to another individual. And one day, that individual was on the farm and he noticed a rock that was on the other side of the farm. That's it, Cheryl. Thank you.
Think and
Think
Grow
and
Rich.
grow rich.
Rich.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he has a few. He has like Outwin the
Yeah. There's a
Devil.
few. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Think and Grow Rich. And on the other side of that farm, when the guy bought it on the other side of the farm, he noticed it was a gem. It was a rock. But the rock looked so undeformed, it looked not like something normal. So he got
Mm-hmm.
the rock, he tended to the rock, and one day it turned into a diamond.
Mm,
So that
mm,
one guy, if he would have just did the work that was required in himself to do and actually look to see what he had, he would have already knew whatever he had was in himself the whole time.
Mm.
But what
mm.
Mm.
happened was he went and tried to look for something else instead of continuously doing the work on the farm to be able to figure out that it was right there the whole entire time.
Right.
So if you listening to me and I'm listening to you, what you got and what you're looking for, you already got it.
Right.
But
How
what's
many
gonna
people try to like run out and like search for things
Mm-hmm.
that
every time,
every time?
every time. But you don't even understand that you got what you're looking for.
Mm.
But you're gonna have to do the work internally to be able to figure out and get to that point. Everybody has a crushing stage, but don't allow where you're at right now to take root of the possibilities that never formed because you just couldn't see through it.
Mm.
Keep working.
Mic
Love it.
drop. Mic drop.
I
I
know,
love
right
that.
there.
Keep
Boom.
working.
That's what I'm saying. My man wise beyond his years. Like, and I think it's so true. And I've tried to remind myself, like, focus on the journey, like enjoy the process, fall in
Hmm.
love with the process and not necessarily the outcome. The outcome is like, money or success, right? Like, you know, having a family, building that out, whatever it is. But like enjoy the process. How many of us don't enjoy the process? We want to like find
Mhm.
like the get rich quick scheme or what's the easiest route. When we have the answers right in front of us, like just stick to
Yeah.
one thing, focus on that, and do the other. And of course, it's a lot easier said than done. But I love that story. I love that analogy how you broke that down. And obviously, it's clear it's been key to your success and will continue to be the key to your success. You have everything you need right in front of you, inside you. Um, yeah. If you're feeling inspired today, like if you're in the chat, drop some fire bombs for my guy Kurt. I'm telling you, like
100%.
I feel so inspired right now, and that's why I just like appreciate you guys, like
Mhm.
tapping in to join, and obviously my guy Kurt. How can people reach you? Like, say, because you mentioned the markets you're in, like if they want to JV with
Mhm.
you or partner up with you or whatnot, how can they reach you?
You can reach me. I'm always on Instagram, right? At underscore Kurt Corleone is my hashtag. And then I also have my business page on Instagram as well. RN underscore property solutions here
Repping,
There you go.
fam.
Look, repping.
Hey,
all the
let's
time.
go.
And
Family business.
I'm here in Arkansas and I'm here in Memphis. So if anybody
Okay.
has any deals, feedback, questions, if I got the time, you got me.
Love it. Love it. Hey, take him up on that too, because I mean, Curtis, he's an amazing guy. You got to hear his story today, and man, we love our guy here, and he's doing amazing things. So,
And what have we
Appreciate
said,
it.
Kurt? 5 years, 5 year
Five
plan.
G.
I,
Mm.
I had I had I had to drop that in right before
yeah,
we
5 years.
bounced.
If you
That's one thing
know,
me and Kurt, man, like
you
because
know.
he posts what he's doing, and I'm like, yo, keep pushing, brother. Like you doing it, and he's like, 5 years, G, 5 years. So
5 years.
Let's do it.
challenge accepted. Let's do it.
Let's do
Let's
it.
go.
Let's get
Let's
it
Do it.
done
go.
too.
Well,
Can't
my
wait to see
God,
y'all in Cuba.
yeah, man, we living it up out here in Beverly Hills. Come out and visit
Yeah,
us
you know
anytime.
what? Big money. You're right.
Big money,
Let's
bro.
Beverly
go.
Hills.
Let's
I
do it.
Let's
like
Let's
it.
go.
do it.
I
Let's do it.
like
That's
it.
how we do. We gotta think big.
I think big. I love it. I
uh,
love it.
well,
Love it.
my guy, I so appreciate you hopping on. I know you're super busy.
100%.
Last minute, just joined in. I think honestly that the value that you're adding not only to this episode, but the value add to the Charged Up community is huge. I'm so proud of you and like seeing the success, and like I know that 5 years, man, I'm gonna be living large. So appreciate you taking the time. We'll have to do this again when
Yeah,
maybe, like I
100%.
said, maybe next year out here in LA or something. But just
That'll be a
wanted to
vibe.
show some love.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Hey man, y'all take care. We gotta get busy. Out.
That's right. Let's get some deals. My guy said like drop
He
the
was,
camera. He's out.
I know.
All right, y'all. Have a good day. We'll catch you guys next week.
All right. See you.
Peace.